Hi guys, what's up? It's Lindsay and welcome back to my channel. Today we are in my kitchen because I am doing a bake with me, which is basically me baking while answering questions and hanging out. And I haven't done this before, but it has been requested because a lot of people are baking right now. And I recently made this amazing vegan coffee cake that was chai spiced and got a ton of DMs of people asking how I made it, and I actually combined a few recipes. So I thought I just would make a whole video on it, answer some questions from Instagram, and just call it a bake with me. So I'm gonna crack open a cold one. This is Better Booch's Morning Glory Peach Kombucha. Feel free to join me. Delicious. I'll drink to that. I'm going to line my little baking dish with some parchment paper. I usually don't record when I'm cooking because I am always listening to podcasts or listening to music really loud in my kitchen. All right. Okay, on to the wet ingredients. I'm going to use the largest bowl that I have because the dry ingredients are going to go in this one and then eventually go into the wet ingredients. So this one should be the largest. 1 cup almond milk or any alternative milk of your choice. 1 teaspoon of vinegar. I'm using apple cider vinegar because it's all that I have. This will fizz with the almond milk, by the way. That's why there's vinegar in this. I know it sounds really random to add vinegar. 1 tablespoon of applesauce. Go back inside. Then 1/3 of a cup of a neutral oil. So that's like canola oil, sunflower oil. You could probably use like avocado oil. I read the recipe wrong. It is 1/4 of a cup of oil. So don't make that mistake. 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Plus a little extra because hello. Then add 1/3 of a cup of sugar to the wet ingredients and then whisk it around till it all dissolves. You can use white sugar. I think you're supposed to use white sugar, but all I have is this raw cane sugar, which is like essentially the same thing. It's just not bleached, but we don't discriminate. Then we're gonna whisk, but I'm using a fork because I don't have a whisk, which I guess now would be a great time to order a whisk online. I don't know why I don't have one. I also forgot to set the oven. It should be set to 350. Believe it or not, when I was younger, I wanted to be a baker, and I made cupcakes and cookies for like every single event all throughout high school. And it was my thing. And then I found the internet and kind of stopped baking, which is probably why I love British Bake Off and like every single cooking show way too much, because they're living my dream life. Time for the dry ingredients. These are pretty simple, so it's just flour, baking soda, salt, and we are going to add in all of our exciting chai spices now. Nutmeg, cinnamon, cloves, and cardamom. Most of these are from Penzies, which is a spice company online. My mom is obsessed with them, and so she gave me these as extras, but their spices are like the best. Once you've tried nice spices, it's really hard to go back. So, you know, just to be a spice snob for a second. I'm also using a sifter. If you don't have a sifter, you can use just like a really nice fine mesh like strainer or sieve, or a whisk if you have a whisk. I don't have a whisk. The recipe says you can use all-purpose flour or a mixture of like all-purpose and some wheat flour. So that's what I'm gonna do, just because I do have some whole wheat pastry flour, and I just, you know, where I can add some like illusion of healthiness, I will. Not gonna lie, I kind of am loving this video concept. I don't know why I have never done this before. 1 1/4 of all-purpose flour, and then I'm gonna use 1/2 cup of the whole wheat pastry flour. Now that all of our flour is in there, let's get on to the rest. 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and it also calls for some baking soda, but for some reason I don't have it or I can't find it right now. but it's only a really small amount, so I'm hoping it doesn't make a big difference because it is mostly calling for baking powder anyway. 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, 1 tiny fourth of cloves, half a teaspoon of nutmeg, and lastly, 1 teaspoon of cardamom. And now we combine the two by just sifting into the blue bowl, and if anything already fell out, just put it back in the top. Okay, now I'm just gonna take a spatula and fold these together. So just very carefully go around the edge of the bowl and fold it back together. The biggest concern here is over mixing it, so just really make sure that the second it's fully combined to stop. Now just pour it into our prepared baking dish and we are ready to go. Wow, it's really unnatural to scoop it like outward, but I just thought it would look better on camera, which I think it does, so worth it maybe. Then just evenly spread it out in the pan so it gets in all of the corners. I'm gonna bring this bowl back to do the topping in because it has a lot of the same ingredients, so this has like a small dusting of cinnamon in it. It's fine, it's not a big deal, don't need to wash it. Half a cup of regular all-purpose flour, 1/3 of a cup of brown sugar, packed. There it goes. The last time I made this, I added a cup of nuts, which is totally optional. I'm going to use these raw pecan pieces. I'm also going to add some almonds because I like almonds and I'm gonna be eating this. 1 cup of nuts. And now we're gonna add a bunch of those chai spices again. So first, oh my god, I almost dropped this. That would have been awful. 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, then 1/4 teaspoon of cardamom, and 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. Then add a little bit of salt. This salt is really large, so it's really hard to measure. It's like very chunky, so just putting in a couple cranks. For the oil to add to this to make it all stick together, I'm using 1 tablespoon of Earth Balance vegan butter and 1.5 tablespoons of coconut oil that I just melted in the microwave to 2 tablespoons was its estimation. So like if it's a little extra dry, you can go up to that 2 tablespoons, which I probably will have to because of the nuts. But if you don't have the nuts, then it'll probably be more like 1 to 1.5 tablespoons. So off we go. Now that our streusel is all perfectly mixed in, evenly spread it over your coffee cake. I would literally just eat this by the handful. It's so delicious. Now she's done, ready to go in the oven. I just set a timer for 35 minutes, so now we get to clean my kitchen and answer all of your questions because I don't know if you can see this. It is just a little bit messy over here, so. Kitchen is clean. Time to answer some of your questions while we wait for the coffee cake. What is your favorite playlist right now? So I have a couple. I've been listening to this old playlist of mine called Beach Laziness because it just feels like summer and I love that. So I've been listening to that, and then my good friend Delaney made a playlist called BRB Social Distancing, and it's very nice and calming, and so I've been listening to that a lot as well. I'll link them in the description. How do you deal with feeling uninspired creatively or lacking motivation? I definitely feel this right now, and I think it's okay to not like push yourself to be productive or creative right now because we are all going through something really intense, and I have definitely felt like I have all this time, why aren't I like drawing more or creating more graphic designs just for myself or to sell like posters and art, and I just haven't been in that headspace. And so what I started doing was just doing some sketching and painting for the sake of it, like just for fun and not for an end goal, and that's kind of helped with the pressure of wanting to make something really good, just knowing that I'm using this time to relax instead of I'm using this time to make something good. What is the #1 place on your travel bucket list once we can finally travel again? So I actually had a trip planned to New York that had to be postponed. So I would love to go there because I've never been there before, and I want to thrift and go to all the art museums and eat all the food. Further down the line, I'd love to go to Italy. I've never been there, and I'd really love to see Spain. Again, for all the food and the art in all of these places because those are my favorite things. Timer went off, it's time to take our baby out. I stuck a knife in it to see if it was still wet in the middle, and it is. So I'm gonna put it in for another like 5 to 10 minutes or so. Brooke asked, where do you go to find recipes? Your videos are motivating me to cook. I'm so glad that they are. Long story short, Pinterest for sure, along with some food bloggers as well, but usually once I find a recipe, I will find it online and then put it on my Pinterest. Feel free to follow me on Pinterest if you want some recipe ideas, style ideas, interior design inspiration. I've definitely been hanging out on there a lot lately. What is your favorite thing to bake or most fun to make? Probably an apple pie or like an apple galette. Those are just, they turn out really beautiful and they look really impressive, and anything with apples is like my favorite dessert. So definitely that. Maybe I'll make another video on it if you're interested. Esme asked, what are your favorite things to make in the air fryer? I love my air fryer, and lately I've been really into making French fries, like really seasoned French fries, and breakfast potatoes. I got the breakfast potato idea from Sid Nasty, and just throw some like red bell peppers in there as well with them. It's delicious. This beautiful machine, I'm looking right at her, has changed my life. I also make tofu in it multiple times a week. So those are my favorite things, for sure. What has been your daily routine looking like in this quarantine? I've been trying to wake up around like 8:30 or 9, get dressed to an extent, eat breakfast, sit on the couch, check my email, talk to my manager, maybe call my mom, go outside for a walk, come back inside, try and force myself to do yoga, make some lunch, go on Twitter, go on Instagram for way too long, maybe edit for like 4 hours, and then suddenly it's dinner time, then I make some dinner, then I call someone else, then I probably hang out with Danny and watch some sort of show until bedtime, and then I journal, and then I go to sleep. Last question, because I've been receiving this a bunch. Are you going to become a full-time YouTuber, or what happened to your 9-to-5 job? Are you still working there with all of this going on? As of right now, I am a full-time YouTuber, which doesn't sound real coming out of my mouth, even though I've been doing YouTube for 6 years. For the past 8 months, I've had a part-time job being a contracted freelance designer, if you didn't know that. But unfortunately, my contract came to an end, and it was very bittersweet to leave because I loved everyone I worked with, and I was really scared to work for myself. That's why I got a job. I didn't really want to work for myself full time, so I was just kind of pushed into it, but I think ultimately it was good timing because now I have all this time to make videos, and it is what I love doing, and I would totally work another part-time design job again in the future. It's really just a matter of like if that's realistic to do right now, since like a ton of designers, creatives, freelancers are getting laid off right now and having trouble finding jobs because of the job market and all of this mess, the economy. But I do know that I can happily work for myself at home, and for that I'm very thankful because I love YouTube. Oh. Check that out, guys. Oh my god, I'm so excited. She looks so good from every angle. Let's do this. Oh, so easy. We love parchment paper. Awesome, thank you so much. Have a good one. Not sure about you guys, but I have been online shopping way too much, and all of my stuff just arrived, so that's great. The first bite of something you made is just the best feeling. Here we go. Guys, this is so good. Okay, let me use my words. It's really just the perfect coffee cake because it's not too heavy, it's not too sweet. All of the different spices in there just create such a complex flavor. Like, it's not just cinnamon sugar coffee cake, it's so much more. It's so good, and it's really moist and fluffy, and if you have nuts in it, like, they're all perfectly toasted on the top. It would be perfect with a nice cup of chai. I will definitely have that for breakfast tomorrow. I wish I could invite all of my friends over to come eat this. Oh wait, I can't. Alright, yeah, so that's all I got. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I really did. Give it a thumbs up if you want to see more bake with me's, cook with me's, or if you just want to, like, you know, help me in that YouTube algorithm. I really appreciate it. And I will definitely be back soon with some new content. Also, if you make this recipe, please send me a photo because I love seeing that. And yeah, I think that's it. So I hope you guys have a great day, and I will absolutely be seeing you soon. Bye guys!